A World Culture Guide / People of the World. Chapter 1. Multiculturalism / Minority Cultures. Only one human race. In The Myth of Human Races by Alan F. Korkos, msu.edu/unit/MSU Press, he says race is a social concept without biological foundation. Skin color, eye shape, hair texture, and other factors make up less than 1% of genetic differences among groups of people. Sickle cell anemia mostly strikes people of African descent because sickle cells provide resistance to malaria and are thus an evolutionary advantage that helped Africans. We have formed several main groups of human beings, but millions of people do not fit neatly into any of them because they have one characteristic of one group and another characteristic of another group, etc. There is a lot of diversity among individuals of the same group. Minority Guide. Diversity or multiculturalism are the politically correct words for minority. Anyone not a white male is considered a minority. The most complete reference book for minorities is called Minority Organizations, a National Directory, Gale Press, 800-877 Gale, galegroup.com. Some reference books are Asian Americans Information Directory, Black Americans Information Directory, Black Newspaper Index, Ethnic Information Sources of the United States, Guide to Black Organizations, Guide to Hispanic Organizations, Hispanic Americans Information Directory, Native Americans Information Directory, The Ethnic Almanaz, The Hispanic American Almanac, Who's Who Among Black Americans, Who's Who Among Hispanic Americans, Multiculturalism Info. God has made of one blood all nations of men to dwell on all the face of the earth. Acts 17:26. There is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither slave nor free, there is neither male nor female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. Galatians 3:28. There is neither Greek nor Jew, circumcision nor uncircumcision, barbarian, Scythian, slave nor free, but Christ is all and in all. Colossians 3:11. People stick with their own kind. I'm generally a citizen of the world with no ethnicity or religion, but everywhere I look, I see the cultural and religious groups sticking together for social, emotional, and supportive reasons. I heard a radio play about a Hindu girl falling in love with a Muslim guy, which ended in tragedy because the families wouldn't accept their children marrying outside their religions. The concept of multiculturalism is that most societies these days, excluding the Japanese, which purposely try to be isolationist, are made up of all different ethnic groups. United States, Canada, Australia, and the Western European nations are all multi-ethnic, so the lesson is you'd better get along because you're all stuck with each other. Major minority websites. Division45.org, Society for the Psi. Study of Ethnic Minority Issues, APA-Div 45. DiversityWeb.org, DiversityWeb, Resource Hub for Higher Education. inform.umd.edu/edraise/topic/diversity/reference/divdict.html, Diversity Dictionary, a guide to diversity terminology. edchange.org/multicultural, the Multicultural Pavilion, resources for equity in education. webcom.com/intvoice, interracial voice. angelfire.com/or/biracial, interracial/biracial resources. darmariaroot.com/doc/bill-of-rights.pdf, Bill of Rights for Racially Mixed People. i3n.net/iia/about.html, International Interracial Association. Multiracial.com, the multiracial activist. ProjectRace.com, Project Race, leading the movement for a multiracial classification. vos.ucsb.edu/browse.asp?ID =2721, Voice of the Shuttle, Minority Studies page. iecc.org, Intercultural Email Classroom Connections, linking classes worldwide. lib.berkeley.edu/mrc/ethnisimagevid.html, the movies and ethnic representation. retinet.unm.edu, resources for teaching about the Americas. Worldwide.edu, worldwide classroom, intercultural and educational programs. Minority website / multiculturalism resources. Most colleges have a multicultural / minority office and social center, which is one of the few places you'll see a minority group in any town or city. You can find books about this topic at hashtag 305.800-899, hashtag 306.84 or FC104, F1035, HM276, or HT1507 at the library. UnderstandingPrejudice.org/readroom, UnderstandingPrejudice.org reading room. CafeArabica.com, Cafe Arabica. clnet.sscnet.ucla.edu, Chicano/Latino.net. Webcom.com/intvoice, interracial voice. LANIC.utexas.edu, Latin American Network Information Center. NAACP.org, National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. abacus.bates.edu/career/multi/links.htm. abanit.org/minorities, legal info. aclu.org, American Civil Liberties Union. aclu.org/racialjustice/index.html. adapt.org, adapt. adl.org, Anti-Defamation League. adl.org. advocatesforyouth.org. aecf.org, the Annie E. Casey Foundation. affirmativeaction.org, American Association for Affirmative Action, AAAA. afj.org, Alliance for Justice. Alliance for Justice is composed of over 100 organizations. aimmagazine.org. ala.org/ala/olo/outreach resource/services people.htm, services to people of color, ethnic and multicultural. allokasame.com. amnestyusa.org, Amnesty International USA. apa.org/pi/multicultural guidelines/references.html, American Psychological Association. apa.org/pi/OEMA, Office of Ethnic Minority Affairs, American Psychological Association. aucd.org/council/multicultural/resources.htm. autisticadvocaki.org, Autistic Self-Advocacy Network. awareness.ca/english/resources/articles/diversity. beattylink.org, Puerto Rican. blogs.creighton.edu/ccsj, Creighton Center for Service and Justice. bluegrassdavinci.com/odp/society/ethnic-ity. boulderadvocaki.org. bpwfoundation.org. bu.edu/admissions/experience/multicultural.html, Boston University. ccyj.org, Center for Children and Youth Justice. centerformediajustice.org, Center for Media Justice, CMJ. centerwomenpolicy.org, Center for Women Policy Studies, CWPS. centerfordiversity.ca. channelm.com, Multicultural TV. chn.org, Coalition on Human Needs. choiceusa.org, Choice USA. Club MOD listimentier.com/index2.html. codepink.org, codepink. commongroundgroup.com. cpn.org, Civic Practices Network. crew43.cahe.wsu.edu/family/rivalry.htm. cs.org, Cultural Survival Quarterly. culturalsurvival.org. curry.edschool.virginia.edu/tilde-inst-tech/idpgm/projects/holidays. curry.edschool.virginia.edu/go/multicultural. ddcf.org. dir.we-cultures_community/countries_and_cultures/American_cultures/forum=y. DisabilityRightsIntl.org, Disability Rights International. DisabledInAction.org, Disabled in Action. Disarm.org, Advocacy and Medical Assistance Organization, focused especially on Central America. Diversity. DiversityInc.com, crosswinds.net/dbowl/diversit.html. DiversityStore.com. DiversityWorld.com. DRALegal.org, Disability Rights Advocates, DRA. Duke.edu/web/race relations/retreats. Eastern.edu/publications/m, Electronic Magazine of Multicultural Education. Eastern.edu/publications/m, Electronic Magazine of Multicultural Education. edb.utexas.edu/me/main.html, Minorities in Education. edchange.org/multicultural/papers/literature.html. edchange.org/multicultural/papers/media. edschool.virginia.edu/go/multicultural. fchina.org. einarhelander.com, Einar Helander. elderjusticecoalition.com, the Elder Justice Coalition. elderjusticenow.org, Elder Justice Now. mtech.net/multicultural_education.html. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/multiculturalism. endhomelessness.org, National Alliance to End Homelessness. equalitynow.org. equalitynow.org/english/index.html, Equality Now. ethnoconnect.com. execpc.com/dbowl/diversit. facebook.com/alliance for justice. familydiv.org, biracial. fedpubs.com/subject/commune/media.htm. firststar.org, First Star. forwomen.org, ms. Foundation for Women. girlsinc.org, Girls Inc. globaluc.org. globalfundforwomen.org, Global Fund for Women. graypanthers.org, Gray Panthers. heath.gwu.edu/links/multicultural_links.htm. heritagekey.com. hrc.org, Human Rights Campaign, HRC. hrw.org/home, Human Rights Watch. HTML, Multicultural Education and the Media. ifla.org/7/s32/pub/guide-e.htm, Multicultural Communities. ifla.org/7/s32/pub/guide-e.pdf, Search for Minorities and Multicultural. imdiversity.com. industrialareasfoundation.org, Industrial Areas Foundation, IAF. innocenceproject.org, Innocence Project. interactivemediaawards.com. interculturalpress.com. interculturalpress.com. iom.in/cms/n/site/iom/home.html, International Organization for Migration. irr.org.uk, Race Relations. ithaca.edu/y/topics/multicultural.htm, Multicultural Education and Culturally Responsive Teaching. janeelliott.com, info about the racism workshop done with blue and brown-eyed kids. jfa.net, Justice for All. jrsainfo.org, Justice Research and Statistics Association, JRSA. justdetention.org/index.aspx, Just Detention International. justforkids.com, 847-803-8783. justicepolicy.org. justicepolicy.org, Justice Policy Institute, JPI. kff.org/global-health-policy, Kaiser Family Foundation. Kresge.org. cumc.edu/diversity/ethnic_religion enproductionsradio.com, linking alternative minority communities to views, opinions, services, and agendas that give our lives meaning. LawyersCommittee.org, Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law. Lianlo.com, 888-320-3395, Multi-Ethnic Books. LegalMomentum.org, Legal Momentum. lib.cmich.edu/subject-guide/humanities/drama.htm, Drama and Diversity. library.cnu.edu/itg/multipleed.html. library.umass.edu/subject/education/multiple-div.html, multicultural/social justice. lifecnt.org/multicultural-donation.html, community programs. littlechilies.com, Spanish language materials. litwomen.org/learnmat/multic.html. lulac.org, League of United Latin American Citizens, LULAC. madre.org/splash.php, Madre. march21.com. march21.gc.ca, 888 March 21. maven.net, 888-776-2846, Mixed Race Students. msedservices.com, Multicultural Educational Services. mcknight.org. mcps.k12.md.us/curriculum/socials/td/multicultural.html. mcps.k12.md.us/departments/oipd. mcreview.com, 800-225-5800, Multicultural Review. mdac.info/n, Mental Disability Advocacy Center. mertzgilmore.org. mhm.org. mindshift.com. minorityamerica.com. minorityrights.org/directory, Minority Rights Group International. misscanadiana.com. modelminority.com. msnbc.msn.com/id/8162596, Ethnic Media in America. multicultural.net. multiculturalcalendar.com. multiculturalkids.com, 800-711-2321. multiculturallibraries.blogspot.com. multilingualmunchkins.com, Language Learning for Kids. multiracial.com. narf.org, Native American Rights Fund. nationalactionnetwork.net, National Action Network promoting a modern civil rights agenda that emphasizes equality for all, without regard to age, gender, race. nationalfairhousing.org, National Fair Housing Alliance, NFHA. nationalforum.com. nbcda.org, National Black Child Development Institute, NPI. ncai.org, National Congress of American Indians, NCAI. ncl.org, National Civic League. nclr.org, National Council of La Raza, NCLR, is a civil rights and advocacy organization that works to improve opportunities for Hispanics. ncnw.org, National Council of Negro Women, NCNW. ncwge.org, National Coalition for Women and Girls in Education, NCOG. ndrn.org/index.php, National Disability Rights Network, NDRN. newhorizons.org/strategies/multicultural/hanley.htm. nod.org, National Organization on Disability. nul.imempowered.com, National Urban League policies that allow African Americans to have equal rights and access to economic self-reliance. nwlc.org, National Women's Law Center, NWLC. ocanational.org, Organization of Chinese Americans, OCA. okchar.org/english/issues/minorities/group/main.htm. osi.hu/iep/workshop/multicultural/proceedings.htm. ourdocuments.gov, documents that reflect our. packard.org. plymouth.edu/library/opac/record/1268049, Multicultural Books for Children. prisonpolicy.org, Prison Policy Initiative, PPI. projectequality.org, Project Equality. protectingelders.org, Coalition of Organizations Protecting Elders, COPE. public.ia/state.edu/savega/multicul.htm, multicultural links. publici.org/index.php, Political Research Associates, PRA. publicwelfare.org/home.aspx, Public Welfare Foundation. raceforward.org, Race Forward. racematters.org. myperfectresume.com/diverse.html. radicalpedagogy.icaap.org. redwoods.edu/mcd/mdc_multicultural curriculum.htm. rethinkingseahools.org, 800-669-4192. rollingreigns.com, Rolling Reigns Report. aronaviduct.com/immigrant-voting, Immigrant Voting by Ron Hayduke. schoolofministry.ac.nz/reformed/multicultural.htm. seechange.org. search-institute.org. seniorlaw-sd.org, Elder Law and Advocacy. sfsu.edu/tilde-multiplesoc/title/314.htm, Multicultural Aspects of Disabilities. shireenws.com. shens.com, 800-456-6660, books. society.gort.com/ethnicity. sojo.net, Sojourners is a Christian organization working to enact various social justice policies. sojustlead.org, Social Justice Leadership. spiritmag.ca, Canada. splcenter.org, 334-264-0286, Southern Poverty Law Center, teaches tolerance. splcenter.org, Southern Poverty Law Center, SPLC. stand.org, Stand for Children. teentalkingcircles.org, Teen Talking Circle Project. thedartcenter.org, Direct Action and Research Training Center, DART. thedigi-name-affects-job-and-career-choices-life-status overall success/ theglobalfund.org/n, The Global Fund. thepraxisproject.org, The Praxis Project. theschmidt.org. thesocialcontract.com, book publisher. tolerance.org. top5s.com/tvethnic.htm, ethnic TV shows. transgenderlawcenter.org. ualberta.ca/s-coleman/culture. umcswtx.org. umn.edu/humanrts/iwraw, International Women's Rights Action Watch, IRA. uncg.edu/list/faculty/baron/multicultural uiowa.edu/tildecoms/tud/resources/gender media, gender, race, and ethnicity in media. unesco.org, Go to Minorities and Multicultural. unitedagainstracism.com. uppersess.state.ms.us/news/multicultural_American_lit.html. uppersess.state.ms.us/news/multicultural_American_lit.html, literature. usaction.org, US Action. usc.edu/department/education/cmmr/home.html, Center for Multilingual Multicultural Research. uw-stout.edu/lib/subjects/mcult.htm. vjf.com/pub/docs/jobsearch.html, Global Village, Resources for Minorities on the Internet. vrx.net/details, Artists Against Racism. Webcom.com/intvoice, interracial voice. Webcom.com/intvoice/catalogs.html. Weber.edu/mbe/htmls/bme-books. WherePeaceLives.com. Women'sLawProject.org/index.html, Women's Law Project. Women'sLiberation.org, National Women's Liberation. WorldCulture.com. youthviolence.edschool.virginia.edu/juvenile-violence/multicultural-issues.html. youtube.com/user/alliance4justice. zmag.org/multiculideas.htm. Association of Multi-Ethnic Americans. POB 191,726. San Francisco, California, 94119. 510-523 AMIA. AMA@sgio.com. Branch. Biracial and Natural Children. POB 50,051. Lighthouse PT, FL 33074. 305-781-6798. Biracial Child Magazine. Center for the Healing of Racism. POB 27327. Houston, Texas, 77227. 713-526 Race. Center for Studies of Ethnicity and Race in America. U of Colorado. Ketchum 30/CB339. Boulder, Colorado, 80309-0339. 303-492-8852. International Institute for the Healing of Racism. RT 113, Box 232. Thetford, Vermont, 05074. 802-785-2627. Interracial Connection. POB 7055. Norfolk, Virginia, 23509. 804-622-9260. Interracial Families Incorporated. 5450 Friendship Avenue. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 15232. 412-362-0221. Interracial Family Alliance. POB 20290. Atlanta, Georgia, 30325. 404-696-8113. 713-586-8948, Houston. Publishes some booklets. Interracial Family Circle. POB 53290. Washington, D.C. 20009. 703-719-9887. Interracial Family Alliance. POB 16248. Houston, Texas, 77222. 713-454-5018. Interracial Family Support Network. 2120 Fordham Avenue. Madison, Wisconsin, 53704. 608-241-5150. Interracial Lifestyle Connection. 4406 North 54th Street. FT. Smith, Arkansas, 72904. Correspondence Club, Singles Connection. Interracial Ministries of America. 5805 Aqua Court. Charlotte, North Carolina, 28215. Jewish Outreach Institute. 33 West 42nd Street. NYC 10036. 212-642-2181. For interfaith couples. National Black Child Development Institute. 1023 15th Street Northwest. Number 600. Washington, D.C. 20005. 800-556-2234. 202-387-1281. Southern Poverty Law Center. 400 Washington Avenue. Montgomery, Alabama, 36104. 334-956-8200. sblcenter.org. For help in dealing with prejudice. Unitarian Universalist Association. 25, Beacon Street. Boston, MA 02108. 617-742-2100. For interfaith couples. Chapter 2. Ethnic Culture Guide. Culture websites at dmoz-odp.org/kids_and_teen/school_time/social_studies/cultures. Archives.gov/exhibits, online exhibits, kids/teens/mature teens includes previews of history records, thoughts, and events. carlos.emory.edu/odyssey, Odyssey Online, Kids/Teens A Journey to Explore Near Eastern, Egyptian, Greek, Roman, and Sub-Saharan African cultures. Make your own discoveries through cool puzzles, games, and worksheets. Cultures.com, Cultures, kids/teens/mature teens devoted to cultures, living and ancient, and the promotion of world communication. Includes photos, drawings, animations, sounds, links to encyclopedias. Earthcam.com/ec_kids, Earthcam for kids, kids/teens/mature teens webcam search engine helps kids find live feed from people and places around the world. Visit Moscow through your computer screen, or journey into outer space at the touch of a button. Everyculture.com, countries and their cultures, kids/teens/mature teens detailed, illustrated articles on more than 100 world cultures. Fromanillands.com, multicultural education through miniatures, kids/teens has pictures and stories of dolls, puppets, and small figures from many countries. Use photos, stories, activities, and games in school projects. ipl.org/div/kidspace, IPL2, kids/teens links from the Internet Public Library introduce the customs, beliefs, arts, and institutions from different groups of people. ipl.org/div/hello, IPL2, say hello to the world, kids/teens learn to say hello in over 30 different languages, plus find links to resources about the languages, the cultures, and language learning on the web. From the Internet Public Library, IPL, and the Librarian's Internet Index, LII. ipl.org/div/cquest/index.html, IPL2, Culture Quest World Tour, kids/teens join Parsifal Penguin and Ophelia Owl as they sample the delicious cuisines, play the games, see the museums full of arts, crafts, and history, hear the folk tales and learn about the holidays and festivals of many of the world's cultures. Culturekids.org, Culture Kids, kids/teens features multicultural recipes, crafts, and activities. Nonprofit organization behind the site also promotes cultural appreciation through arts education, workshops, and theater. Mamalisa.com, Mama Lisa's World of Children and International Culture, kids/teens children's songs, nursery rhymes and poetry from all over the globe presented both in English and their native languages. Many include MP3, real audio or MIDI sound clips and sheet music. English, French, Spanish. Mountainvoices.org, Mountain Voices, Teens/Mature Teens presents interviews with over 300 people who live in mountain and highland regions around the world. Their testimonies offer a personal perspective on change and development. netlaputa.ne.jp/Tokyo3/E, Multiculturalpedia, kids/teens is a Canadian sneeze different from a Japanese sneeze? Learn about everyday habits and customs from various cultures around the world. Pulseplanet.com, Pulse of the Planet, kids/teens/mature teens 2-minute glimpses, complete with sound clips, into the cultures of the worlds. See and hear how people live, work, and play. From National Science Foundation. QuestConnect.org, Adventure Learning Foundation, kids/teens/mature teens online expeditions take students on virtual journeys around the world. Tiki.oneworld.net/features/survival/survival_home.html, We the World, kids travel with Tiki the penguin to meet kids from tribal groups. Topics-mag.com/edition11/games-section.htm, children's games from around the world, kids/teens around the world. Children have one thing in common. They love to play games. Discover how kids from Venezuela, Mexico, Korea, China, Germany, and many other countries play different versions of the same traditional games. Travel.nationalgeographic.com/travel, National Geographic, Travel, and Cultures, kids/teens/mature teens includes photos, maps, videos, flags and facts, all indexed by continent and country. Worldmusic.nationalgeographic.com, National Geographic, World Music, teen/mature teens videos and information about world music including artists, regions, and genres. Watch Nat Geo Music Online, a 24-hour music channel broadcasting music videos, concerts, interviews, and documentaries from around the world. Worldtrek.org/Odyssey, Odyssey, kids/teens join more than 1,400 classes as they journey around the world via the internet exploring lands, people, and cultures. Childrenslibrary.org. Culture websites. UNESCO.org, UNESCO, UN. Educational, scientific, and cultural organization. CWIS.org, Center for World Indigenous Studies, Research, and Education. Cultures.com, Cultures.com, devoted to living as well as ancient cultures. Cultures.org, Cultures Observations Database, Open Database Project. Academiccommons.org. ACLACChandicraft.com. AffordableHousingAlliance.com. ADAPworldwide.org, Threat Assessment. BeforeIDie.cc. bioartsociety.fi/deep_time/deep_time-of-life-and-art. Biography.com. blog.splitwise.com. breathingearth.net. cdc.gov/php/post/bce. census.gov. census.gov/he/www/poverty/poverty.html. separ.net. chartercities.org. cia.gov/library/publication/the-world-factbook, CIA World Factbook. citylab.com. citymayors.com. cityofboston.gov/doit/apps/citizensconnect.asp. cnu.org. codeforamerica.org. cohousing.org. collegenews.org. communicate.com/cross-cultural-training/intercultural-awareness.php. communities.idea.gov.uk. councileforecon.org. cpnas.org. cprconservation.com. cscr.org. ctba.org. cultures.com. cwis.org. Center for World Indigenous Studies. deeproot.com. diku.com. earth911.com. ecologyandSociety.org. economicsnetwork.ac.uk. edda.org. eesi.org. emptyhomes.com. en.wikibooks.org. en.wikipedia.org/w/index.php ?title=cultural_artifact. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/community. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/community_building. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/community_center. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/community_engagement. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/community_of_practice. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/community_organization community. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/community_service. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/community_standards. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/comprehensive_planning. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/concurrence. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/condescension. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/counterculture. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/culture_shock. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/cross-cultural. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/cultural_anthropology. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/cultural_bias. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/cultural_bias. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/cultural_diversity. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/cultural_diversity. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/cultural_identity. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/cultural_heritage. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/transformation_of_culture. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/cultural_hegemony. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/cultural_heritage. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/cultural_heritage_management. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/cultural_identity. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/cultural_imperialism. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/culture. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/culture. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/culture_shock. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/ethnic_groups. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/ethnic_studies. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/Indo-Sea Tri-Nation. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/cultural_assimilation. Cultural assimilation. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/multiculturalism. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/cultural_imperialism. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/cultural_anthropology. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/intercultural_competency. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/peer_group. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/peer_pressure. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/peer_production. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/popular_culture. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/primitive_culture. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/sociology_of_race_and_ethnic_relations. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/subculture. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/traditional_society. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/cultural_heritage_management. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/urban_decay. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/urban_ecology. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/urban_morphology. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/urban_planning. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/urban_sprawl. en.wiktionary.org/wiki/coexistence. en.wiktionary.org/wiki/indifference. enterpriseworks.org. epa.gov/air/noise.html. famoushistoricalevents.net. friendsofthepleistocene.com. generation1.org.au. geologicnow.com. geometry.uiuc.edu/education/calc-init/population. greatimmigrants.carnegie.org. gsdrc.org. historicalmemoryproject.com. historic-memphis.com. historyrb.com. history-timeline.com. h-net.org. honestbuildings.com. howstuffworks.com. learningthroughhistory.com. livingonan.org. longevitymeme.org. longnow.org. northbyestar.org, pcaaca.org, Popular Culture Association / American Culture Association, peopleandplanet.org, policenter.org, populationmedia.org, poverty.com, preservationdirectory.com, psca.com, rand.org, seniorcitizenstories.com, sociallypsych.org, socialprogressimperative.org, socials2dis4kids.com, spacesyantax.net, spotlightonpoverty.org, symbolism.org, teachingamericanhistory.org, ted.com, thefamouspeople.com, thehowcofwonder.org, thenatureofcities.com, thepeoplehistory.com, thepovertyline.net, thevenusproject.com, thezeitgeistmovement.com, threatassessment.vt.edu, timerime.com, unesco.org, UNESCO, abanicologycollaborative.org, worldlifeexpectancy.com, worldometers.info, worldpopulationbalance.org, worldwide.edu, Worldwide Classroom, Intercultural and Educational Programs, Indian Links page, montauk.org/page12.html, links to more than 350 Native American-oriented websites, Black Heroes and the Spiritual Anyam, oniam.com/index.asp, offering insight into the cosmological worlds of peoples of African descent, Echoes of the Ancestors, Molidoma.com. Molidoma Sum is a fully initiated shaman of the Dagara tribe of West Central Africa. Hopi Way. timesoff.com/Hopi. Touch the Earth Foundation. Mayan Civilization. chriscienzo.com/Jaguar. Seven Fires Foundation. sevenfires.org. Seven Fires Foundation is a non-profit organization whose mission is to provide humanitarian services and preserve the ancient traditions. Tamoanchan. tamoanchan.org. Our mission is to create a self-sufficient teaching center called Tamoanchan, where Aztec traditions can be transmitted and applied. Culture and Psychology / Cross-Cultural Psychology websites. cap.sagepub.com, Culture and Psychology. culturalstudies.net, Cultural Studies Central. culturomics.org, Culturomics. iaccp.org, International Association for Cross-Cultural Psychology. iaccp.org/drupal/node/13, Cross-Cultural Psychology Bulletin, IACT Newsletter. iaccp.org/jccp, Journal of Cross-Cultural Psychology, IACT Journal. internationalpsychology.net, International Psychology, APA Division 52. journals.elsevier.com/international-journal-of-intercultural-relations. pcaaca.org, Popular Culture Association / American Culture Association. sccr.org, Society for Cross-Cultural Research. sccr.org/ccr/ccr.html, Cross-Cultural Research, SCCR Journal. theory.eserver.org, eServer Cultural Studies and Critical Theory. theory.org.uk, Social Theory for Fans of Popular Culture. uiowa.edu/tildecoms/tud/resources/cultural studies.html, Cultural Studies Resources. vos.ucsb.edu/browse.asp?ID =2709, Cultural Studies page. www.edu/culture/contents_complete.htm, Online Readings in Psychology and Culture. www.edu/culture/contents_complete.htm, Online Readings in Psychology and Culture. World Culture Website / Ethnic Websites. I define culture as the activities people do to bond, have fun, socialize and keep their heritage/roots strong. In the artistic sense, culture is what people do to define themselves and to metaphorically connect with the gods, to touch transcendence, go further than the usual rite of the human condition. Culture helps us learn more about each other so we respect each other more. In a mass media, pop culture global village, every culture is becoming the same. You got Japanese kids making rap videos, guys wearing earrings everywhere, everybody watching the same Nike ads. Try hashtag 900 hashtag 904 at the library. Culturefinder.com. 123world.com/society and culture. AAAstudies.org, Asian Pacific American. APFDN.org, African American Heritage Preservation Foundation Incorporated. AIP.org, Association of American Indian Physicians. AAIUSA.org, Arab American Institute. ACSUS.org, Association for Canadian Studies in the United States. acu.edu/academic/library/reference/culture.html. adc.org, the American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee. africanstudies.org. afrol.com/index/cultureindex_world.htm. aicgs.org, American Institute for Contemporary German Studies. aihec.org, American Indian Higher Education Consortium. alinet.org, American Indian Library Association. aimmagazine.org, Racial Harmony. aimovement.org, American Indian Movement. airpi.org, American Indian Research and Policy Institute. aces.org, American Indian Science and Engineering Society. ajhs.org, the American Jewish Historical Society. allposters.com, World Culture Posters. alpfa.org, American Association of Hispanic Certified Public Accountants. amosite.org, Association of Multi-Ethnic Americans. Americans-world.org. Americas.org. amscan.org, Scandinavian. Anacleta.com, Culture Resources. aoh.com, Ancient Order of Hibernians in America. apbad.pt, the Portuguese Association of Librarians, Archivists, and Documentalists. artsrvemichigan.org, Arts Foundation of Michigan. artsmia.org/world-myth/art by culture. asian-studies.org. asiasociety.org. aworldconnected.org. bannekermath.org. bbc.co.uk/worldservice. bestart.com/grid/subject/1015, Art Prints of World Culture. blackpeoplelloviews.com. bluecloud.org/dakota.html, American Indian Culture Research Center. bnaibrith.org. britannica.com/eb, Encyclopedia. brooklyn.cuny.edu/tilde-fa-el-sol/other.html, links to world culture. kala-web.org, Chinese American Librarians Association. ccds.charlotte.nc.us/history/index.html, World Cultures Resources. celticlife.ca. census.gov, Ethnic Populations in America. clui.org, Center for Land Use Interpretation. cmpia.com, the Center for Media and Public Affairs. columbusart.com/artscene/worldart.html. commongroundgroup.com. countryreports.org. cs.org, Cultural Survival. culturalliving.com. culturalprofiles.net. Culture Center. cultureconnect.com. cultureconnect.com. cultureconnect.com/webcams. culturecult.com. culturegrams.com. culturelink.org. cultureplanet.com. culturistui.com. culturewars.org.uk. dntownsend.com/site/rock/rcksum.htm, Changing the World, Music. eoc.evansville.edu, Exploring Ancient World Cultures. edschool.virginia.edu/go/multicultural. education-world.com. en.wikipedia.org/w/index.php ?title=cultural_artifact. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/culture. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/demographics_of_the_United_States. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/expatriate. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/mere-exposure_effect. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/museum_of_world_culture, Museum of World Culture. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/race_and_ethnic_in_the_United_States. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/salvage_ethnography. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/social_constructivism. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/tribal_knowledge tribal knowledge. scr.org, the Egyptian Society for Spiritual and Cultural Research. ethnicnow.com. ethnicstudies.org. ethnologue.com. ethnomusic.ukla.edu. everyculture.com. everyculture.com. eworldevents.com. festivalofworldcultures.com. filipinasmag.com. flickr.com/group/culture. frmt.org/n, Rigoberta Menchú Tum Foundation. geographicrapia.com. geoleadership.com/index.html, a geology eater is a global leader who leads through cultures and contexts. georgetown.edu/tamlet/info/sepacs.html, Center for Electronic Projects in American Culture Studies. germanlife.com. globalknowledge.org. globalvoicesonline.org. gpc.edu/tilde/humanities/literature/culture/culture.html, resources for the study of world cultures. hadassah.org, Israel. hatw.net/culture.asp, hands across the world. heritagekey.com. hindubooks.org/sudhir_birodekar/India_contribution, India's contribution to world culture. hirsch.cozy.sb.at/www-virtual-library_culture.html. hkw.de/index_n.html, House of World Cultures. hnbia.com, Hispanic National Bar Association. h-net.org. h-net.org. homeschooling.gomilpitas.com/directory/socialstudies.htm. homeschooling.gomilpitas.com/explore/sosci.htm. hometown dead website/bowerman/culture.html. hsofmh.org. huntington.edu/srs, the Society for Romanian Studies. iacia.com, the Indian Arts and Crafts Association. iajgs.org, International Association of Jewish Genealogical Societies. iccs-ciec.ca, International Council for Canadian Studies. ili.nativeweb.org, Indigenous Law Institute. imagiverse.org. indiana.edu/ethmusic, Society for Ethnomusicology. indiana.edu/Mathers, William Hammond Mathers Museum, Museum of World Cultures. infoplease.com/world.html. interculturalpress.com. interculturalrelations.com. international.loc.gov. international.loc.gov/intldl/intldl home.html, Global Gateway. international.loc.gov/intldl/intldl home.html, Global Gateway, World Culture. ipl.org/div/sequest. ipl.org/div/kidspace/browse/audi5000. ipl.org/div/kidspace/sequest, Culture Quest. ipl.org/kidspace/browse/audi5000. ipl.org/youth/hello, say hello to the World Project, say hello in over 70 different languages and access cultural links. irishgenealogical.org. isam.biozeed.net/archive/2005/12/world-culture-forum-blog, World Culture Forum blog. ITSEmembers.org, Intertribal Environmental Council of Oklahoma. JACL.org, Japanese American Citizens League. JDL.org, the Jewish Defense League. JETRO.org, Japan External Trade Organization. jin.jcic.or.jp/navi/category_6.html, Japanese culture. JulUKNews.com, South Africa. JustForKids.com, 847-803-8783. KHABAR.com, India American. LASA.international.pit.edu, Latin American Studies Association. Latina.com. Lianlo.com, 888-320-3395, Multi-ethnic books. lib.utk.edu/diversity/culture corner. loc.gov/folklife/other.html, resources in ethnographic studies. loc.gov/rr/international/portals.html, portals to the world. log.electrolyte.net/stories/209, the first World Culture Forum held in Sao Paulo. logoi.com/logoi_notes.html, languages and cultures the fun way. lse.ac.uk/collection/ASIN, the Association for the Study of Ethnicity and Nationalism. lulac.org, League of United Latin American Citizens. mariposamuseum.org, Mariposa Museum and World Culture Center, Peterborough, NH. mariposamuseum.org/events.html, Mariposa Museum and World Culture Center, Peterborough, NH, workshops, etc. mecca.org/wcf/partners.shtm, World Culture Forum. mesa.arizona.edu, Middle East Studies Association. minorityamerica.com. mjaa.net, Monty Jade Science and Technology Association. multiculturalcalendar.com. multiculturalkids.com, 800-711-2321. multiracial.com. muohio.edu/CAUSE, Center for American and World Cultures. naas.org, National Association of African American Studies. napaba.org, the National Asian Pacific American Bar Association. narf.org, Native American Rights Fund. nationalforum.com. nationalgeographic.com. ncsu.edu/ncsu/stud_org/native_american/index.html, Society of Native American Culture, promotes Native American culture. newdimensions.org. niaf.org, Italian. niaf.org, National Italian American Foundation. ninch.org, National Initiative for a Networked Cultural Heritage. nitai.org, National Indian Telecommunications Institute. nsbe.org, National Society of Black Engineers. nshop.org, National Society for Hispanic Professionals. osia.org, Italian. osia.org, Order Sons of Italy in America. pacificnet.net/tilde_sperling/quiz/world1.html, World Culture. pacificnet.net/tilde/sperling/quiz/world2.html, World Culture. Party GUIDEonline.com, Institute for Traditional Studies.org. pbs.org/frontlineworld/educators/culture.html. pch.gc.ca/cy-about-docs/native-e/native_e.htm, Canada's native people. psearchpark.org/worldcultureopen.htm. pscore.gov/wws/educators/culture.html. piusa.org, Pacific Intercultural Exchange. pology.com, travel magazine with a focus on world culture. pology.com/blog, travel, and world culture. portal.unesco.org/culture. public.ia-state.edu/rjslvad/scmfaq/mesobib.html, Latin America. kia.com. reforma.org. rom.on.ca/collection/culture.php. rom.on.ca/exhibition/wculture/index.php, Royal Ontario Museum. rootsworld.com. rourkepublishing.com/library/series.aspx. russianlife.net. sacnas.org, Society for Advancement of Chicanos and Native Americans in Science. scottishheritageusa.org. search-institute.org. shepherdsoftware.com/world_continents.htm, map games. skippingstones.org. snowhawk.com/cultures.html. sociology.emory.edu/globalization. sociology.emory.edu/jboley/cwc, constructing world culture. sup.org. sweden.se, the Museum of World Culture, Gothenburg, Sweden. taac.com, Association of American Cultures. talkaboutculture.com. tckworld.com, Third Culture Kids. teacher.scholastic.com/lesson-repro/k_2theme/world.htm. teachersfirst.com/lay-world.htm, World Cultures Lessons. thebritishmuseum.ac.uk/world/world.html, World Cultures. theglobalist.com. theworldcafe.com. tac.net/users/thazlitt African Black Cultural Studies. tourism-culture.com. trungshaman.org. treatycouncil.org, International Indian Treaty Council. tunisiancommunity.org, Tunisian Community Center. ualberta.ca/s-Coleman/culture. ucc.ca, Ukrainian Canadian Congress. unesco.org/culture. unesco.org/culture/world report. unityinc.org, United National Indian Tribal Youth. vareldskultur-museet.se, Museum of World Culture. villagehatshop.com/hats-and-world-culture.html. washingtontimes.com/culture. wcfalliance.org, World Culture Forum Alliance. wcfcorp.org, a World Culture Forum agenda for the Arab world. wct.greenwood.com/wcthome.jsp. wdcm.nig.ac.jp/hpcc.html, Culture Collections in the World. webdoc.com/journal.html. webofculture.com. webwins.com/card/card6.htm, World Culture Electronic Postcards. whc.unesco.org, World Heritage. worldandy.com. worldbeatplanet.com. worldculture.com. worldculture.org, Institute of World Culture. worldcultureopen.org. worldmag.com. worldmusicinstitute.org. worldofnews.com. worldpress.org/culture.htm, worldviewer.com, wsu.edu/d, wtsn.binghamton.edu/ans, the American Name Society, wwar.com, worldwide arts resources, yahooligans.yahoo.com/around_the_world/countries, yahooligans.yahoo.com/school_bell/social_studies/cultures, ethnic groups in America, en.wikipedia.org/wiki/list_of_ethnic_organizations, igc.org/cipia, list of ethnic groups, California, ethnicmajority.com, en.wikipedia.org/wiki/list_of_ethnic_organizations, tamililibrary.org, afghanistanpeace.com, ihs.org, Irish, allausa.org, Latvian, polishforums.com, americanheritage.com, americawoche.com, German, mscan.com, Scandinavian Review, mscan.org, Scandinavian, arianaafghan.com, Afghanistan, aufbauonline.com, German, bungazamillah.com, Bangladesh, beiruttimes.net, Lebanon, bostonirish.com, brazil.com, Brazil, sikamata.com, Afghanistan, celticheritage.ns.ca, celticheritage.ns.ca, chicagocitizen.org, chomedinews.com, Greek, Canadian, commonplace.org, American Heritage, cvntv.com, Cape Verde, dana.edu/das, Danish, enet.hu/bp week 1, Hungary, fncmedia.co.uk, faanoos.com, Arab, Canadian, farsinet.com, Iranian people, filipinasmag.com, finamhsw.com, Finnish, flprimo.com, Italian, france.com/mag, france-amerique.com, French, germancorner.com, germanlife.com, germanlife.com, goswiss.com, Swiss, greece.org, greekamericans.com, grhs.com, Germans from the Russian Heritage Society, Guyana.org, hernik.org/frames, Armenian, hchc.edu, Greek, highlandermagazine.com, Scottish, inac.org/Irish people, IranTodayOnline.com, irishamerica.com, irishamericanpost.com, irishconnectionsmag.com, irishecho.com, irishdetaillon.com, irish-herald.com, irishvoice.com, israelfixx.com, italiansworld.org, italiantribune.com, italystl.com, Italy, St. Louis, kaapeli.fi, Finnish, kościuszkofoundation.org, Polish, Science, lagaccitanewspaper.com, Italian, Spanish, English, leopardmag.co.uk, Northeast Scotland, lithuanianamerican.org, littlendia.com, India in the United States, lituanus.org, Lithuania, maori.masi.ac.nz/he-pukna-koreo, Maori, masala.com, metroorien.com, Irish, min.net/ydrych, Welsh, myafghan.com, Afghanistan people, mypaisan.com, Italian, niaf.org, Italian, niaf.org, National Italian American Foundation, nigeriansinamerica.com, nordicway.com, Scandinavia, nordstigenan.com, Swedish, norway.org, nsslife.com, Slovak. ohornal.com, Portuguese. omade.com, Afghanistan. osia.org, Italian. osia.org, Sons of Italy. pgs.org, Pennsylvania, German. pna-znp.org, Polish. polamjournal.com, Polish. polishdailynews.com. polishfalcons.org. polishfest.org. polishnews.com. portuguesetimes.com. prcua.org, Polish Catholic. pwa.org, Polish Women. risbubs.com, Russian Life. rronline.ws, Russian. russianbazaar.com. russianmass.com, Massachusetts. russiancholas.org. sabawoon.com, Afghanistan. cirr.org.za, Race Relations, South Africa. sandhills.org/Shuza, Scottish. scottbanner.com, Scottish American. scottishlife.org. scottishtales.com. serbenatlfed.org, snfonline.org, Serbian. serbworldusa.com. sip-ca.org, Society of Iranian Professionals. snpj.com, Slovenia. sofen.com, Norway. sonsofitalypa.org. swedenamerica.com. swedishamericanhist.org. thedonishpioneer.com. thehellenictimes.com, Greek. thenationalherald.com, Greek. theturkishtimes.com. theturtleislandnews.com. ukrweekly.com, Ukrainian. underbridge.com/scathan, Irish. uutiset.com, Finnish. uv.es/thelm, Spain. vesterheim.org, Norwegian. vhnewyork.com, New York, Russian. westernviking.com, Norway. danishsisterhood.org, The Supreme Lodge of the Danish Sisterhood of America. iafsj.org, the Italian American Heritage Foundation. nikkeheritage.org, the National Japanese American Historical Society. American Jewish Congress. Worldwide Tours. 15 East 84th Street. NYC 10028. 800-221-4694. 212-879-458. ajcongresstravel.com. Tours. Basques Festival. Elko, NV. July. They are Portuguese mountain people's descendants. Danish Days. Solving California 93463. Sept. Dutch Like Towns. Holland, Michigan 49323. Pella, Iowa 50219. Orange City, Iowa 51041. German Fests. Williamsburg, VA. Mayfest, Herman, MO. German Alps Fest, Hunter Mountain, New York, summer. Bavarian Fest, Barnesville, PA, July. Oktoberfest, Kitchener, on Canada. Wurstfest, New Braunfels, TX. Greek festivals year-round. Tarpon Springs, Florida 33589. Heidi Festival. New Glarus, WI. Swiss. Holiday Folk Fair. Milwaukee, WI. Many Cultures. Kolach Festival. Montgomery, MN. May, Czech Festival. Mittersill Alpine Chalets. Franconia, New Hampshire 03580. Austrian Atmosphere. Oklahoma Czech Festival. Box 211. Yukon, Oklahoma 73099. October. Polish Museum. 984 Milwaukee. Chicago, Illinois 60622. Scottish Highland Games. Atlanta, GA. Ligonier, Pa. Linville, NC. Dunedin, FL. Antigonish, NS. Stratford, on, Canada. British-like atmosphere for Summer Shakespeare Festival. Swiss Trap Family Lodge. Stowe, Vermont, 05672. Swiss-like atmosphere. Swiss Fest. Bern, MN. Swiss Festival. Sugar Creek, O. Ibercuban Festival. Tampa, FL. February. Ethnic Media/Ethnic TV. Latino Consortium. 3171, Los Feliz Boulevard, Suite 200. Los Angeles, California, 90039. NLCC.com. Center for Asian American Media. 145, 9th Street, Suite 350. San Francisco, California, 94110. Phone, 415-863-0814. Fax, 415-863-7428. AsianAmericanMedia.org. National Black Programming Consortium. 761A Oak Street. Columbus, Ohio, 43205. 614-229-4399. Native American Public Telecommunications. PO Box 83111, Lincoln, Nebraska, 68501. 402-472-3522. East European Culture Websites. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/Hilanda R_research_library. ato.co.uk/eastern-europe-holiday.asp. artmargins.com, Central and Eastern European Visual Culture. cdrc.org, the Center for Democracy and Reconciliation in Southeast Europe. charlottesvveb.com, Tales of East European Travel, Culture, and Food. coe.int, Council of Europe. d.umn.edu/cla/faculty/truefs/anth3635, Anthropology of Europe. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/central_and_eastern_Europe. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/culture_of_Europe. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/east-central_Europe. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/eastern_Europe. fas.harvard.edu/AAASS, American Association for the Advancement of Slavic Studies. historicaltextarchive.com. indiana.edu//reiweb, Indiana University Bloomington, Russian and East European Institute. lvivcenter.org, Center for Urban History of East Central Europe. shef.ac.uk/ESCA/research/CCS, Southeast Europe. scs.ac.uk/elc.htm, Department of East European Languages and Culture. ucis.pit.edu/resweb, Russia and East Europe. Chapter 3. Demographic Travel Guide. Teachers get travel perks. educatorstravel.com, sabbaticalhomes.com, for teachers only. teacherstravelweb.com. teacherstravelweb.com/homeexchange.html. Union travel discounts. unionplus.org.